versus evil in the 40k setting. So let me set the scene. In the 40k, in the grim darkness of the 40k universe, there's only war. But are there any good or any? I mean, is it is it everything like super evil, or there's some good along the lines? So first, Quinn, you have a really good way to put things into perspective. So I'm gonna let you talk first.
Well, given today's climate, I'd definitely say there's good and evil because you look at the way, well, just the whole superhero genre has been demolished by modern audience perspectives. The concept that there is no good and evil, it's just shades of gray. Well, yeah, there are shades of gray, but I'm sorry, trying to make virtues out of evildoers and villains is not a good concept or moral concept to try and promote. So in that vein, I would say, yeah, there is good and evil in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. You look at just the world history, what happened in the Second World War, you had the Allies against the Axis. Well, yeah, you could claim that is good versus evil, but both sides did some nasty things. But, as they say, I'm not the hero you want, I'm the monster you need. Terrible things have to happen to correct what evil does. So I'd say, yeah, there is a good delineation from a human perspective. The imperium of man is the side of good, fighting against the evil that is the chaos and the Tyranids and the orcs that are trying to destroy it.
Okay, yeah, first you touched upon in general how today's media or today, yeah, I mean, no, let's say that today's studios make us
Yes.
see good and evil, which is not a good way to present things at all, especially to the young generations nowadays. And as you know, me and Logan had the honor and the privilege to talk with Sam Jones, Flash Gordon himself, like in 2019, and he literally said what we were thinking, and by this point of time things have not even gone that bad,
Yeah.
they were
Nobody saw it coming.
yeah, they were still normal. He was like, hey, good should be good and evil should be evil. Like, there's what are you talking about? How they present things in the movies is just not healthy way of looking at things, that everyone has to be misunderstood and
Exactly.
all of those things. And this is absolutely the same thing what now we watched recently with Agatha
It
all
happened
along.
in Agatha all along. Yeah, all of
Yeah.
a sudden we have to forget about all the evil things she did and be kind of, crying about her and be heartbroken and say, oh no, so she wasn't evil all along, pun intended.
But she
Uh,
was.
but she was, but she was,
I mean,
and
literally showing. I mean, I don't want to get into another topics, guys.
yeah,
So, because when you open the door for the general thing, and then we're gonna touch upon 40k. So,
I'm sorry.
well, it was
it's a good door.
important. It was
Yeah.
important, but yeah. For a quick example, like there was a scene in the last episode where Agatha is shown how she's killing witches all the time, like all the time to take their power. That's what that was the goal. In the
That's
same
the only
time,
reason, yeah.
yeah, at the same time, not getting any stronger, which was stupid, but okay. And then involving her own son into all of this, so he had to attract them to make everything seem like it's innocent, and then when they come, she kills them. So he was literally the one that, I mean, he's a child.
Yeah.
She's making him do those things, but then he dies. Oh, spoilers! Jesus Christ, who cares about the show?
Yeah.
And we have to like feel bad about Agatha because she lost her son and she feels stuff.
And she continued to do bad stuff after he's dead. She continued to kill them, for the reason being just to get the powers.
For no reason.
For no reason. Yeah, that's actually the reason is for no reason. And,
That's so dumb.
and she was even going to kill the other witches that nowadays that she got together as a coven and things like that. That was her intention all along. Maybe that's why it's called Agatha all along.
Because it's stupid all.
Because it's stupid all along. So yeah, and even
Yeah.
just a quick note, they show things like that, and in the first Joker, by the way, the second I don't care about. I didn't watch it. But again, that was the thing that they show here. That's a villain, but he was again misunderstood, because the system and the government and the people around him, they did it. Okay, why wasn't he strong enough to get through all that and not be the villain?
Okay,
So
we're
again,
ranting about other stuff
yeah,
now.
misunderstood. Every villain is misunderstood now. No
Okay,
villain.
okay, but in 40k, there's no such nonsense. Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank
yes.
God. In 40k, everything is there. It's bad, but where is the good then? Again, Quinn, you brought up a very good point that the humanity is this focal point that's supposed to represent the better side. Of course, things are not black and white completely, because
No.
basically what the emperor does, because everything comes from, I mean, everything starts with the emperor, is that he wants to he wants to play on the offensive,
Offensive.
on the offensive, instead of just waiting for humanity to be a sitting duck and be conquered by the rest of the galaxy. He just
Yeah.
assumes that that's going to happen. He can actually probably see some of that because he has, of course, some kind of a foresight. So going from this point on, he's like, well, I'm going to then attack everyone, like conquer as much planets as possible. Humanity is populating a ton of planets, all those things. The whole systems are populated with humanity and all that. And then this will make humanity capable of protecting itself and sustaining itself as well. All those things just becoming a greater power in the universe so we can survive. So from that point of view, uh, it's like, oh, okay, it's very different. It's really not black and white, because when you are dealing with someone, a character like the Emperor, who can see things forward to very confusing extent, we don't know exactly to what extent he can do that. Sometimes he can do that clearer, and sometimes it's a few actually possibilities in the future, and it's not sure which one of these is more likely to come true. So then he attempts to take action towards certain outcome that he most desires. Let's explain it this way. And so on. So from that point of view, you could say that the emperor, he has good intention towards his own humanity, but he's doing bad things to a point to achieve that. At least, though, in the 40k, when it comes to the Space Marines, and when it comes to at least what I have read, we don't have anything like you can read in other universes that are more brutal, that we have other war crimes that I don't want to talk about with R. We don't have this type of evilness. We just have killings everywhere. But first, there's some parts that, in some planets, there could be diplomacy. Let's say Horus, and there interacts. He comes and he's like, hey, can we just do this without war? And they're like, no. So then we fight. So it's not like how some people like to think about 40k. It's like totally brutal and everyone are like, no, 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 no. Then there's chaos. So to not be here the whole night, some people think that chaos is like, I literally had such comment that chaos encompasses the good and the bad from humanity. Yeah, to a point, but do not forget that inherently chaos adopted and was developed by the negative, by the evil emotions, thoughts, and actions of humanity, because all that they're doing, their nature is pushing actions of living beings, not only humanity, towards bad. War, the disgusting things. It's all about the corruption and the type of corruption that each chaos god presents. So they may be gods of something that is perceived good, let's say bravery on the battlefield, equal to corn, let's say, but in the same time that bravery is always going to be used and steered in the direction of complete annihilation, brutal killing, and so on. Of course, when someone, like let's say a very good space marine that has some moral values and systems by which he lives by and all of those things, when he has all of these emotions and qualities in him, he can choose to kill a certain way that's not necessarily horribly evil. It's just necessary for the type of enemy that he's dealing with. That is not evil in this case. So we have to watch case by case everything and then to measure it. What is the intention of a particular killing? Let's say if you take some evil guy that is like a space marine from one of the chaos faction, the traitor factions. They will kill for pleasure, and they will extract that pleasure. They will take a ton of satisfaction from what they're doing on the battlefield, and they even do it in certain ways just to make them feel good, which is twisted and disgusting and all those things. So that is evil. But when you kill to protect your imperium, your emperor, your primarch, your comrades, your planet, whatever it is, you are doing this with the intention of being, well, good in this case, noble, and to act with these noble desire, so to speak, and you are trying to just, protect yourself and all of that. So it's totally different, the intention, and the whether or not you're doing something with malice or you're doing something because you're trying to protect something, someone, whatever it is. So of course this is very, very complex. It's a very long topic. But this is the topic, good versus evil in the 40k setting. Good will be once again why you're doing certain thing, and sometimes, let's say there was a certain animation also from the Hammer and Bolter series when you see how the Eldar are fighting as well with the Space Marines. Then a mother is trying to protect her child. What is good in this case? Well, it's good the fact that the mother is trying to protect her child, of course. And here comes a Space Marine and is butchering them. That's not good in this situation. From the side of the Space Marine, he's not good. He's doing a very evil thing to this mother and a child, of course. That is how it is. So case by case situation. In this case, then you see the ugly face of war. Then somebody's gonna say, "Oh, this is war, so this happens." Yeah, sometimes the Space Marines maybe don't have to attack certain world, but they do it anyway, and then evil thing happen. And then basically we're talking about literally needless. One of these battles could be needless in this case, but they're doing it anyway because they're already like in the rage of war on whatever. So that's gonna be evil. Whatever it is for protection of humanity and necessary is going to be towards the good side, and whatever is doing, I mean, could be it is done because somebody just decided to do war crimes and be carried away or whatever and do disgusting things. That's gonna be the evil side. So yeah, here it is. Anything to add, because I went to around. It's really complicated. Yeah.
Well, just to supplement what you were saying, the warp is not chaos. Chaos is a separate thing from the warp. Well, it's a part of the warp, but the warp is neutral, and it only reflects the emotions you put towards it. So you're going to get chaos, which is the negative emotions from all races that are feeding it, and then you've got the side of order and justice and good, which is a reflection of the Emperor's miracles, the Legion of the Damned that appear for Space Marine chapters that are in a tight situation. Suddenly the Legion of the Damned appear, and they're basically a force for good, if you will, that'll go through and fix the situation if the Imperium happened to be losing in that particular battle. So saying that chaos or the warp is good or evil or is just pure chaos is not right. It is neutral, and it just reflects accumulated emotion, and that's why you've got the birth of the chaos gods, and that's why you might have the emperor becoming, or at least the part of the emperor that is reflected in the warp, becoming another god, not necessarily a chaos god, but a god of order and justice, at least for the Imperium. Just like you have the new Tau god that has appeared recently, and all the other ones that might exist, the Eldar gods. Who knows if they will ally each other fighting against chaos itself. We'll see as the authors further develop the Black Library list.
Okay, well, yeah, the warp was neutral, but then
Hmm.
the chaos gods were basically born in it because they're
Yes.
part of the imperium. That is the fabric of their existence, what they're made
Yep.
of. So they're
Yep.
born in that environment. There are some positive parts of the warp, as far as I know. There's just some little
Hmm.
pocket dimensions in there. But mostly is what we see. And then once again, when we're talking about a certain fantasy universe, as I said before, through my analysis, the 40k is written as the opposite of what we understand as in the real world, what we have been taught basically. Because, I mean, in the Christian religion, let's say, we know that there's heaven, which is the most beautiful place that's out of this world and all of that. That's not material. But in the 40k universe is the opposite. The afterlife represents the warp, which represents chaos, and there's no hope inside that you're going to have a good afterlife or anything like that. It's basically like hell. So for some reason, 40k is written in this way, and everything it looks very grim dark because the hope that somebody is getting, when dying, is to think that maybe you're going to go to a higher, better place. But when you're in 40k, there's no such thing. You're gonna get to hell probably, or you don't know where exactly you're gonna get. It's gonna be a real chaos everywhere. you know, uh, where's the place of the soul really amongst all the things that are in the warp? It's a bit like that. Okay, and then yeah, the other gods, that's interesting. The Star Child, that is the positive side of the Emperor, still somewhere out there in the warp, supposed to be reunited with the Emperor someday. That's very interesting as well. So maybe that is growing in when it gets one with the Emperor. We're gonna get a better Emperor, but certainly he's not gonna become the Dark King because that ship has sailed totally at the last book of the Horus Heresy, the end and the death part 3. So there's no more the Dark King because we know that if there is, then the whole universe is gonna end. There's not gonna be any chaos, planets, galaxies, tyranids, whoever, Necrons, everybody are going to be completely wiped out from existence. There's only going to be the Emperor who is gonna be sitting there and being like, there's no one. I totally destroyed everything. So no Dark King, he relinquished that. So the idea maybe in the future is that he's just gonna reunite with the Star Child, and that's gonna make him balanced but still powerful enough to be in some kind of a comparable level to all the Chaos Gods combined. That's my theory, based on everything that I've read so far from the books. Logan, do you want to say something about good and evil in 40k?
Well, to me, it never looked as if everybody are just assholes and things like that. So that's what most people say.
They're
So,
literally not.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it's clearly that you have good versus evil here. One side wants to, save the earth and the humanity. The other is, chaos, and they want to take everything, and not just chaos. I mean, so to me, it's pretty clear. I see it. Someone said in the comments of your main topic when you had it, of the main video when you had about that topic, that it's like the Marvel's Ultimate Universe. It's
Yes.
comic books that they did in 2000 and something when they wanted to revamp their comic books because to get younger the younger audience, so that they created this universe that was called Ultimate Universe, and it was different. The version of the Avengers was called the Ultimates, and basically all of them were douchebags and assholes, including Captain America. Now, and someone in the comments said that Warhammer is like that, like this universe, because you have only Spider-Man who is good, and he made a parallel with salamanders, and everybody are assholes. I don't see anyone else as assholes, I mean, the Space Wolves certainly are good from what I've been reading and doing things. I mean, they fight all the time for the humanity. They do everything for in the name of us and the Emperor. All the others that we see, we just played Spaceman in Shield. Titus was not evil.
Yeah.
Sure, there is that asshole Leandros there, but
He's just an ass.
but yeah, I mean, sometimes we have colleagues like that.
He's a Karen.
See, he's a Karen.
He's a Karen.
Yeah.
He demands to speak to the manager.
So yeah, even in that Ultimate Universe, that's not true. Spider-Man was not the only that was good, and everybody else was assholes. You know, we can say more that about the boys, the coin book. I mean, but again, that's not the case in Warhammer, from what I see. So to me, it's clear which are the good guys and what is the evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because some of them have to kill, you know, that things are, let's say, brutal.
That means that they're warriors.
That means that they're warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, again, in the main comic books, I mean, do you think that Captain America never shot a person when he was a soldier in World War II? He was just throwing his shield and hit the, not to say which people, because maybe we got flagged or something, you know, the German people. and that's it. And they all of a sudden got converted to, okay, we're not going to do the war anymore because you hit us with your shield. That's it. Here is my gun. Okay, we give up.
We thought I'm not gonna shoot you now.
He had to. He was a soldier, and that's why. But his idea to do that was not I want to be in the war so that I kill people. No, he was I'm fighting for the greater cause in that case. Yeah. So, and here I see the same thing.
Yeah, and lastly, because we really rant about this a ton of time, don't forget, guys, that a lot of the loyalist Primarchs and also Astartes, we have people like Nathaniel Garrow, who even went against his own Primarch in the name of what's right. He saw what was done to his brothers. He would not stand for it, even not for his own Primarch. He went, he tried to warn everyone. He was a real freaking hero of the Imperium, and he stayed objective throughout this whole thing. That for Space Marine is absolutely unprecedented, because never before there was any crisis like the Horus Heresy. Anything of the sort never existed. So for a Space Marine to be betrayed, for a Primarch to be betrayed by their own brothers, that's unheard of. That's not something that you think about at all. But he made the right decision. He showed bravery. He showed that he knows what is true and what's not. So with characters like that you know that they protect and they truly feel honor and all those things, you cannot say that they are evil, because they are literally doing the right thing in certain situations. And then when they're really, you know, when push comes to shove, all those things, you see who are those characters really, and who is the real, you know, the real good guy, so to speak, who has the valor, you know.
Yeah.
Who has the principles intact. Okay. Okay, third topic, Quinn, if you don't have anything to add.
Not really. I was just gonna say, it's the whole question of whether there's good and evil in the 40k universe, I think, is just whitewashing the whole concept of the modern day audience garbage that's being forced down our throat. We have to now look through everything in the modern perspective of there is no good and there is no evil, and what was evil we would term as a villain is, you know, misunderstood. It's all a load of rubbish. There are some pretty clear delineations. Yeah, bad things are going to happen even from the good perspective, but I just think it's people that are trying to get on that bandwagon or just virtue signaling to the modern audience, as they say, and I have no time for it. It's just a load of hogwash as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because imagine little me, I mean my very green Gary, when I first saw Bricky's videos, that's one of my first exposure to 40k at all, and I was like, he says that everyone are assholes? What the hell is happening?
He sounds like he's a modern audience kind of guy.
Yeah, well, I like to be an objective kind of gal, so I
Yeah,
don't like
there you go.
bullcrap. Thank you.
Exactly.
I mean, say just the things that is way, I mean,
The
as
way
they
they
are,
are.
the way that they are, and not try to twist them to fit to, yeah.
The 40k Empress teaches fitness, health, nutrition, and helps with your intimate relationships at OnlyFans. Yes, I know what you're thinking, but she doesn't use it for Slanesh things. Go there and let her help you with what you truly need. The link is down below in the description dimension. Go on, click the link. I'd know if you didn't. I see you.